What's up everyone, I'm CallumOnToast, and in today's video I'm going to be showcasing some very entertaining battles submitted to the channel by multiple-time Battle of Spice winner Kingperia464, who's running 3 Pokemon with new moves this season in Wigglytuff, Raichu, and Froslass. Kingperia knows that I'm not a big fan of Charm, so he's actually running Feint Attack instead, which will obviously give it completely different matchups, but it will allow it to debuff opponents faster and even reach a potential Hyper Beam, which he is running. Now before we get into the battles, I will say these are at rank 1, so there's going to be some very chaotic battles. There will be some questionable Pokemon being used by the opponents, but in my opinion that only adds to the entertainment. So with that being said, let's just get into the question of the day. What's the one Pokemon that you will never use in the Go Battle League? Maybe it's because of the associated playstyle with that Pokemon, maybe it's because it requires an insane amount of grinding to actually power up that Pokemon to use for the Go Battle League, but let me know in the comment section down below. And with that being said, let's get into the battles now. Alright, so going into the first battle, we lead into a Pelipper. So obviously Raichu would be very good in this matchup, but we're going to stay in at least initially with our Wigglytuff. Tank the first charge move. This is just going to be a Weather Ball, so that does already get us into the yellow health, but we can go for an Icy Wind. This will debuff their attack, and the opponent is going to shield the first move as well. And at this point, we should live a Weather Ball, but we're actually going to swap, catch it onto our Raichu here. As the opponent goes for that Weather Ball, we can live another Weather Ball, but it will be quite close. So we're actually going to shield the next move here, and I don't think we can farm them down before they make it to the next charge move either. And so we're actually going to double shield the Raichu. I'm not so sure about this play, but let's see. The opponent comes in with a Quagsire, and we make it to 99 energy, which is really unfortunate because if the opponent shields up the Trailblaze, we will not get off another Trailblaze. So we settle for the boosted Wild Charge. It still does 50% of their health, which is quite nice, but obviously would have preferred to just take out the Quagsire. They go for the Mud Bomb. It takes us out. We come in with the Froslass, and we are going to swap, catch the charge move onto our Wigglytuff, and the opponent full sent a Stone Edge. That would have dealt super effective damage. That is very nice to catch it there onto the Wigglytuff. We can now go for a triple Axel, and from this range, it will be taking out the Quagsire, and the opponent comes in with the Pelipper. We farm them down, and they've got a knocked out in the back, and triple Axel is going to do huge damage here, boosting our attack once again. We can make it to another triple Axel, and this is easily going to take out the Noctowl from this range, and we're able to take that game. So there you can see the power of triple Axel if you can get the Froslass into the right matchups. But into the next game, we're going to see Lantern in the lead. We're actually going to safe swap into Raichu immediately, baiting out a Diggersby, and this is where Trailblaze will be nice as it will hit for super effective damage. The opponent actually shields the first one. Well, I'd say you probably don't need to shield the first one. It probably does less than 50% of their health, but the opponent full sends a Scorching Sands. We're now going to come in with the Froslass. They throw it immediately, so this will be a Fire Punch. It will hit for super effective damage, but it won't really threaten a shield just yet. We're now going to go for a triple Axel, and triple Axel grabs the final shield from the Diggersby. The opponent double shielding very early, and as well we boost our attack. So now the triple Axel coming through next will deal more damage. We overfarm perfectly, throwing on the CMP tie, and triple Axel will be taking out the Diggersby. And let's see what the opponent wants to do. They're actually going to come in with the Medicham. This is definitely not the right play here, as we make it to a Shadow Ball. It looks like a CMP tie, but Shadow Ball one-shots the Medicham from full health, and now we can come in with the Wigglytuff, and I can pretty much guarantee we're going to be going straight for the Hyper Beam in this matchup. They go for Surf. It looks like we could barely live the next Surf, but I think safe play is to just shield it. Otherwise, they probably will just Spark Farm us down, but we do shield up the Surf, and we will be able to make it to the Hyper Beam in time. Does this one-shot the Lantern? Yes, it does, and we're able to take that game. So going into the next battle, we see Wigglytuff into Flareon. So this is not great, but I assume with Feint Attack it's slightly better. Although Flareon did get a buff this season, since Fire Spin does do 1 more damage, which isn't ideal for us. But we go for an Icy Wind, grabbing a shield. Honestly, Flareon, very squishy. You can see we've done a lot of damage with just the Feint Attacks already. The opponent full sends an Overheat there, debuffing their attack by another 2 stages. We now swap into our Raichu. This is a triple debuffed Overheat coming through. It's still nearly one-shots us, but we do get the Thundershock farm down, and they come in. I don't even know what that was, but we're going straight for a Wild Charge. We grab the final shield from the opponent, and it's actually a Confusion Mr. Mime. So a very interesting team from the opponent so far. It wouldn't be rank 1 without seeing a team like this. And now the opponent comes in with a Water Gun, Purified Swanna. I wonder if they're running Return on this Swanna. We go for the Icy Wind. We're now going to swap into the Froslass. We should be able to shield once and then just fully farm them down. And yeah, so we're going to shield the move, and the opponent does go for the return. That would be double resisted, but it doesn't really matter. We can now go straight for the Shadow Ball. Shadow Ball will be enough damage to one-shot the Mr. Mime, and we're able to take that game. So you're probably not going to see battles like that in the higher ranks, but still quite enjoyable to watch. But into the next game, we're going to see Altaria in the lead, so this is great for us, and we can actually make it to an Icy Wind before the opponent makes it to their first charge move. Icy Wind grabs the shield. That would be double super effective damage. It probably doesn't quite take them out just because Altaria is incredibly bulky, but that's fine with us. We can go for another Icy Wind here, and we've got Froslass as well, so we might even just go down, or sorry, let the Wigglytuff go down here, but at least come out with 2 shields in this matchup. So that looks like that's what we're going to do. The opponent goes for the Sky Attack. It actually doesn't quite take us out there. I think they could have Dragon Breath farmed us down, so we swap into Froslass. This is double debuffed, but we want to preserve the health here on the Froslass, and the opponent comes in with a Wailord running Water Gun. We know Shadow Ball doesn't quite take them out, so we're actually going to boost our attack first with the triple Axel. We can safely shield this up and then overfarm quite significantly. They go for the Surf, so not running the new Scald for the Wailord. I think Surf probably is just slightly better since it is cheaper, but we go for the Shadow Ball, taking out the Wailord. They come in with a Wigglytuff of their own. They are running Charm though, which is the preferred moveset. We go for a triple Axel. That does about half of their health. We come in with the Raichu. We go for the Wild Charge straight away. This will easily be enough damage to take out the Wigglytuff, and now we can just Thunder Shock, farm down the Altaria, and we're able to take that game. So going into the next battle, we see Wigglytuff into CallumOnToast. So actually not that great of a matchup since we are running Feint Attack, and the opponent, they might be able to go straight for a close combat here, and this will do a ton of damage. So we're actually going to shield. They go for triple Axel instead. That's going to boost their attack. We're going to go for an Icy Wind, probably going to grab a shield anyways. We could be running Play Rough or Disarming Voice. We grab the shield and then we swap. We catch the next move, presumably just another triple Axel, which it is, which is really nice for us. And now we can go for a triple Axel of our own here, going for the triple Axel, and this will be taking out the CallumOnToast, boosting our attack. They come in with Chandelure running Fire Spin, and they're able to get the farm down, which is really unfortunate for us. Really good for the opponent there, but they should be running Incinerate in my opinion, since it is still a much better move than Fire Spin. The opponent also doesn't commit to the farm down, which is massive for us, especially since they go for an Overheat, debuffing their attack, and now they've got a Water Gun Lantern in the back. I think if this was Spark, this would just be game over. We win this very comfortably, but since it is Water Gun, they are applying quite a lot of fast move pressure here, so they're going to go for a Surf. We are going to overfarm in this matchup, and we will be able to make it to a Wild Charge, throwing just before they make it to the next charge move, but it's going to debuff our defense. Can we live a Fire Spin? Yes, we can, and we make it to a Wild Charge. Wild Charge will easily take out the Chandelure, and we're able to take that game. So going into the next battle, we're going to see Wigglytuff into Carbink. So this is actually really bad for us, and we are going to swap out. I'm not so sure about that, since obviously Carbink going to have a really good matchup up against the Froslass as well as the Wigglytuff, since it does resist Feint Attack, but we do swap out anyways. The opponent lets the first Trailblaze go through. That does less than half, but then the next Trailblaze will be dealing more damage to the opponent, so we go for it here, throwing just before they can Rock Throw farm us down. Trailblaze goes unshielded, and they come in with a Bite Toxapex, which is very interesting. We're going straight for the Wild Charge. We one-shot the Toxapex. I don't know why they didn't shield, but they've got Salazzle in the back, and this is looking really rough for us. Salazzle can just absolutely destroy our back line now. They go for Poison Fang. That honestly nearly one-shots the Wigglytuff. We come in with the Froslass. Yeah, it's game over now. We kind of have to let this move go through. Poison Fang will not take us out. We make it to a triple Axel, which is nice for us, but the Incinerate damage probably takes us out now, and they can just go for the full Incinerate farm down, and Salazzle sweeps our team, whilst the Raichu, it looked like, was having a really good time there. So very entertaining battle. Into next game, we can see a Gardevoir in the lead, so we will be able to make it to the Icy Wind before they can go for a triple Axel, or I don't know, Synchronize or Shadow Ball or whatever. But it looks like the opponent probably just going to shield and try to farm us down. We recognize that we would get farmed down there, so we swap into our Froslass. We can shield up the Synchronize, and we should be able to Powder Snow farm them down from this range, and we do come out with quite a lot of energy. Now the opponent comes in with a Bubble Mantine, so we go straight for a triple Axel, grabbing a shield, and now we boost our attack. This Shadow Ball is going to do absolutely huge damage to the Mantine. Mantine, very bulky, but it nearly takes them out there, but unfortunately they do barely get the Bubble farm down. We're now going to sacrifice the Wigglytuff, letting the move go through. They go for a Water Pulse, which is quite interesting. We get the Thundershock farm down, and they've got a a Rock Smash Infernape in the back. So we go for the Wild Charge, it one-shots the Infernape, and we're able to take that game. So going into the next battle, we see Wigglytuff into Diggersby. So this is a pretty decent matchup for us, I would assume. And we are going to go for it. Well, we're actually going to overfarm in this matchup. We're going to shield. They did farm to a potential Hyper Beam. They full send the Hyper Beam as well. So good shield usage there. We're now going to go for an Icy Wind. I wonder if we're going to try and catch the next Hyper Beam onto our Froslass. And we do try to catch it, but the opponent holds onto the energy. But then they swap into Medicham, which is definitely a questionable decision. We're now going to go for a triple Axel here, grabbing a shield from the Medicham. And the opponent, if they're not running Psychic, they can't really touch us at all. But they are still running Psychic. That actually does more damage than I was expecting it to do, since it did get nerfed both this season and the previous season. But Shadow Ball one-shots the Medicham. They come back in with the Diggersby. They get the farm down, but we're going to come in with the Wigglytuff, shield once again, and once again they full send a Hyper Beam. We get the Feint Attack farm down, and they've got a Charizard in the back. We've got quite a lot of energy here, so we will make it to 2 Icy Winds before the opponent can make it to a Blast Burn. And this should just guarantee this matchup, because now I think we should be able to live a Blast Burn on our Raichu despite it hitting for massive damage here. So we're going to force them to go for a Blast Burn into the Wigglytuff. We come in with the Raichu. Can we live a Blast Burn now that it is double debuffed? The answer is yes, we can, comfortably as well, and we're able to get the Thundershock farm down and take that game. So going into the next battle, we see Wigglytuff into Togetic. So this is well, we're actually just going to swap out straight away into our Raichu, and the opponent is going to stay in. We're actually going to bait with a Trailblaze, quite risky here, and the opponent lets that go through, so that is not ideal for us whatsoever. And then they come in with a severely underleveled Swordsbuck. That is such a spicy pick. Well, I mean, there's a borderline of like spice and just downright bad, but we're going for the Wild Charge, taking them out with a resisted move. The opponent comes in with Chestnut. We should have got off the charge move there, I believe, but unfortunately we don't. They do get a very nice farm down. We're going to come in with the Wigglytuff here, and we will let this first move go through. The opponent going to go for Energy Ball and not Frenzy Plant. Maybe just didn't have any elite TMs and built this one before Community Day, or I don't know, maybe they just weren't playing during Community Day. But we come in with the Froslass. We are going to let this move go through. They go for another Energy Ball. That does a decent amount of damage here, and we're going to go for the full farm down. We get the farm down, and we come out with 2 triple Axels loaded, so we can go for the first one. This probably grabs a shield from the opponent, and at this point, triple Axel probably takes out the Togetic from this range. They full send a Dazzling Gleam. Honestly, we probably win CMP anyway, so it doesn't matter. We take them out with the triple Axel, and we're able to take that game. Now going into possibly the final battle of this video, we lead into Jirachi, which normally would be really bad for the Wigglytuff, but we're actually doing quite a lot of damage with the Feint Attacks here. Gonna shield, of course. Doom Desire would take us out from this range, but now we can go for an Icy Wind. We've got them fairly low, so we might grab a shield, and Icy Wind does grab the shield. We now swap into Raichu, and the opponent's gonna stay in. They're gonna go for another charge move. Doom Desire is resisted. It is also debuffed, so it doesn't do too much damage. We're now gonna go for a Trailblaze. This is quite safe because it should still take out the Jirachi, and it does boost our attack. They come in with an Obstagoon, and we make it to the Wild Charge. They throw on the CMP tie. This is boosted. Wild Charge one-shots the Obstagoon, and they've got a Azumarill in the back. And now at this point, we're going to come in with the Wigglytuff, permanently debuff them with the Icy Wind, and I don't expect the opponent to use their shield here, but we're looking very fine now. We're just going to force the opponent to throw their energy, and then we come in with the Froslass, and we should just go straight Shadow Ball in this matchup. I don't think there's any reason to bait with a triple Axel. So yeah, we go for the Shadow Ball coming through, dealing big damage to the Azumarill. They need to make it to 2 charge moves to take us out, and even then, I think they have to go for Hydro Pump because they are now debuffed, and it looks like we can just go for a full Powder Snow farm down, taking out the Azu, and we're able to take that game. So that's gonna be it for today's video. If you did enjoy it, please make sure you leave a like, leave a comment letting me know, and as well, don't forget to respond to the question of the day if you haven't done so already. And if you want to see more content like this in the future, make sure you hit that subscribe button and turn on post notifications. That way you'll be notified whenever I upload a new video. And with that being said, thank you all so much for watching today's video, and I hope you have a great rest of your day.